Well, hopefully you can see that. It's 4 o'clock in the morning here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That means it's noon Paris time. I'm up on my bike and not in my warm bed, so that can only mean one thing. It's Sync the Planet time. Let's get this done. Good start. Alright, this year's topic is, if I could change one thing in the world, what would it be? Now this one might sound a bit weird to begin with, but stay with me. I would make it compulsory for all school kids to learn a foreign language beginning their first week of school when they're 5 years old, and then continue until they leave school. The reason I'm thinking this, a lot of mistrust and issues, misunderstandings of other countries and cultures stems from mainly as English speakers not understanding the nuances of other countries or cultures. It's a lot more complicated than that, but let's go with it for now. So just imagine if by the time these school kids got to the teenage years, they could be encouraged to go and stay in the country that speaks the language they've learned, and they can live with a family, they could work or volunteer in the country, but they'd get to speak to locals on a daily basis, asking and answering questions. They just get to know so much about the people and their culture. And at the end of the day, you may not agree with the views of those people, but at least you'll have a better understanding as to why they have those views, why they do and say what they do, believe what they believe. It's got to be good, hasn't it? It's got to be better than what we've got now. And I'm not just thinking of the common languages that kids learn at school, French, Spanish, German, whatever. I've missed my light. But I'm thinking common languages which aren't taught so often, but are really incredibly common throughout the world. You should be teaching Mandarin and Russian, Pashto, Urdu, Greek, Taiwanese, whatever. The idea is to learn a language from a country and culture that is the most different from your own. But I don't know how languages are taught in schools these days. It's been quite a few years since I was at school. But when we were taught French, we didn't even start till we were 12 years old. That's way too late. And then conjugating verbs. What the hell's that all about? When did you ever hear about someone who became fluent in language and they started conjugating verbs? I mean, all you have to do is speak to a 5-year-old child who's fluent in their own language. They won't even know what a verb is, let alone how to conjugate it. It's a pointless task. It makes it easy for teachers to mark, but it's not what you need to learn the language. You learn it how children have been learning for tens of thousands of years. You immerse them in the language and just learn how to speak it first. Once you've got that sorted, then you go on to the reading, the writing, and then start learning all the grammatical rules. but you've got to just learn to read it first, to speak it first. So just imagine generations and generations of school leavers becoming fluent in so many different languages. Wouldn't the world become a closer, smaller place? Just think how friendlier people become when they understand each other better. The world would be a friendlier place. Dare I say it, a safer place. It's a nice thought. One day maybe. So that's my entry into SyncThe Planet 2017. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe it gave you something to think about. Maybe not. Until next time, this is TriumfAnt signing out.